leçon de Victor Charlie, c'est que la réponse à la bombe atomique n'est pas une autre bombe atomique, mais la plus ancienne forme de résistance humaine, la guerre de guérilla. Nous avons demandé à Fidel Castro, qui connaît passablement la question, de nous dire comment et pourquoi la guérilla doit gagner.
Sobre la cuestión acerca de si la lucha armada es el único camino para la liberación, lo que puedo responder es que, por lo menos en las condiciones de nuestro país, no había otro camino. Y en nuestra opinión, en las condiciones de la inmensa mayoría de los países de América Latina, no hay otro camino que la lucha armada. Y esa parece ser la situación también en muchos otros países de Asia y de África. Por lo general siempre el imperialismo cuenta con todos los medios, aliado con las oligarquías de cada uno de los países, para impedir el triunfo democrático de la revolución. Y tiene atado a los pueblos por una especie de nudo gordiano, que solo se puede quebrar mediante la lucha armada. Además, el camino de la lucha armada no es el camino que hayan escogido los revolucionarios, sino es el camino que los opresores le han impuesto a los pueblos. Y los pueblos entonces tienen dos alternativas: o doblegarse o luchar.
Hello guys, welcome to the 10th episode of the 1804. Today it'll be a shorter episode. I don't have much to cover today. Mainly, Youri, as you can see on the screen here for those of you watching on YouTube, mainly Youri Latortue's statement regarding the sanctions that was taken on him on November 4th by Canada and the U.S., as well as the North American Summit between Canada, Mexico, and the U.S., and then what was discussed and what was not discussed during what they call the Amigos Summit, and as well as the advantages. One thing I want to cover, and one thing that I'm involved and passionate about, but mainly what are the advantages of Bitcoin, not just for the world, but mainly in Haiti. We'll be covering that as well. So I want to get started with Youri Latortue. Those who don't know, Youri Latortue was one of the politicians, along with Joseph Lambert, that were hit with sanctions by Canada and the U.S. back on November 4th. Specifically, I'll get you the statement from the Treasury Board. Joseph Lambert and Youri Latortue have abused their official positions to traffic drugs and collaborate with criminal gang networks to undermine the rule of law in Haiti, said Undersecretary of the Treasury Board for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence Brian E. Nelson. The United States and our international partners will continue to take action against those who facilitate drug trafficking, enable corruption, and seek to profit from instability in Haiti. Okay. So now he's addressing, and similar to what, if you guys watched episode 9, Laurent Lamont went on Allo Sénateur, another radio show, instead of doing a press conference, and he was denouncing the accusations of sanctions against him. So Youri Latortue here is doing the same. However, he is alluding to different things. So let's take a look here.
Les sanctions après date 4 novembre 2022 ça. N'a dit premièrement à tout le monde qui attend de nous, que ce soit en direct ou bien par la presse qui est présent, que moi-même personnellement, moi victime déjà de sanctions SAIO en dans pays. Côté en 2007, justement, au niveau de États-Unis, yo te relé nous, ou te dit qu'il y a une suspicion drogue sous nous, et yo prend des décisions contre visa nous parce qu'il y a une suspicion. Et depuis le ça, nous avons entamé une bataille qui te fait que 3 ans après, au niveau de Wikileaks, nous avons ouais c'est Fritz Meuse, on est qui était accaparé pour Gonaïve là, qui était al porter plainte, qui était al dénoncer dans l'ambassade américaine.
So he's talking about a dispute. He's talking about sanctions that were taken on him back in 2005, and that were apparently he was accused for the same things: drug trafficking, corruption, all that. Which, by the way, there is also, even in these sanctions, there's a UN report, credible report, not just by the UN report, but also sources of that have published news articles. He's accused of killing a priest back in 1994 in Haiti as well, which factored into these sanctions too. But he's alluding here to Fritz Mevs. Metz is one of the oligarchs of Haiti. Fritz Mevs, one of the oligarchs, the owner of Port Vareux, that same fuel port that, if you guys remember, it had a quote unquote blockade, but essentially was revolutionary leader Jimmy Cherizier blockading it, so trying to tax the oligarchs for access, so he can use that money to provide any type of health, anything that could help out the masses of Haiti. So he's talking about a dispute, and he's saying that Fritz Mevs at the time went to the U.S. embassy and accused him of drug trafficking, etc., which is why he had sanctions on him back in 2005. And he's saying that it's mainly because at the time, he's from Gonaive, where there's a port there, and he wanted, I guess, Fritz Mevs wanted access to the port or some type of ownership of the port, but Youri was saying he's disputing it because he wanted the port to be in the hands of the state, and today it's in the hands of the state. But he's talking, that's where the dispute came from.
Le 5 mai 2005, parce que le pas voulait payer pour Gonaïve là, il me dit le payer. Et le ça, bataille a été faite jusqu'à ce que mal devant tribunal, jusqu'à ce que toute famille t'ait dit que ça monsieur t'ait fait à pas bon, nous t'al devant tribunal et nous t'ai gagné bataille là. Et monsieur t'ai présenté excuse-lui parce que li connaît ça le t'ai fait à pas de bon. C'est pour le décaparer pour qu'on arrive là. Il faut nous rappeler en passant que pour ça actuellement dans l'État, puisque bataille ça que nous avons faite là, c'était pour que l'État te récupère pour. Et là ça, nous venons arriver, nous voyons que pays comme les États-Unis te réévalué justement question sanctions que te prend contre nous. Eh bien, le 4 novembre 2022 vient arriver. Nous venons retrouver une situation côté international là, vient annoncer encore sanctions contre nous. Yo vient par la presse nous apprendre ça puisque va jamais signifier nous aucune décision. Immédiatement que question ça est venu, nous te dit que c'est des sanctions politiques puisque nous connaissons ça qui est arrivé déjà. Nous te entreprendre plusieurs actions. Actions que nous entreprenons, nous t'ai écrit pays États-Unis, nous t'ai écrit pays Canada, parce que nous t'ai parlé de façon générale, pour nous demander qui ça que vous reprochez nous spécifiquement.
So he's just saying here that he wrote to Canada and U.S. asking exactly what the sanctions are, but specifically, but even in, we'll go back to the statement by the U.S., mainly for, it shows here, have abused their official positions to traffic drugs and collaborate with criminal and gang networks to undermine the rule of law in Haiti. So if he's saying that, oh, like, show me the proof in the sense that, like, what, show me specific cases where I've done that, I get it. But the thing with not Joseph Lambert, with Youri Latortue, it's even through what I'll show you, even through old WikiLeaks reports, and through former U.S. officials, he is known to be one of the most corrupt Haitian politicians as well. So him coming up here doing a press conference and acting all innocent, I'm personally not buying it. Even if I personally don't know how sanctions work, in the sense that he also said that Canada or the U.S. didn't contact him directly, which I don't think that's a standard practice of when you're sanctioned, that you get contacted by the government directly, but he's alluding to that and saying it's political play because he did not get contacted directly, which I think is bullshit. But coming from him, it's funny because you can go. It's one of the politicians where you can go anywhere online really and find some type of corruption story, drug story on him, or even mainly between 2000 and 2010 as well. So this is from, I just want to show you here. This is from the Canada-Haiti Information Project. But here, it's something about that same dispute with Fritz Mez, which this gives up a bit more detail on it right here. So, the U.S. Embassy treated Latortue warily when he returned to Haiti in 2004. The first conflict they had with him was when he took up upon himself to tell some of the ex-soldiers in Cap Haitien who had taken part in Guy Philippe's rebel force that they would be admitted into the HNP, or Haitian National Police. This raised a red flag for us and the rest of the international community and was the subject of the core group meeting March 12th, reported Sanderson's predecessor, Ambassador James Foley, in March 15, 2005 cable. The U.S. and its allies went to Prime Minister Youri Latortue, who made clear this was not the case, pleasing them with his public knowledge that the HNP was not an automatic option for the ex-FADH. 2 months later, a prominent member of Haiti's bourgeoisie, businessman Fritz Mez, told the U.S. Embassy that Colombian drug traffickers were working with a small cabal of powerful and connected individuals, including Youri Latortue, to create a criminal enterprise that thrives on and generates instability, Foley wrote in a May 27, 2005 cable. The cabal, which included Youri was a small nexus of drug dealers and political insiders that control a network of dirty cops and gangs that were responsible for committing the kidnapping and murders. Which, again, this story, in terms of corrupt politicians corrupting cops and gangs, this is nothing new that's publicly stated. So even in here, let me see. So in terms of his, he was alluding back to this conflict being between Mevs and him about the port in Gonaïves. And just this is, again, an old article, but just show you this control at the time over the port in Gonaïves. The colleague likened Senator Latortue's authority in the port city of Gonaïves to that of a drug mafia boss, the cable continued. He claimed that somewhat lethargic port and the drug and other contraband trafficking taking place there are completely under the senator's command. The port in Gonaïves is largely controlled by the Cannibal Army gang, which faces persistent competition from two other gangs, the Chaos and Jubil Blanc. Senator Latortue exerts influence over all three groups and is thus able to maintain sway over dealing in the port. Senator Latortue's other businesses in Gonaïves include a nightclub and movie theater, both questionable legitimacy. So, just to show you in terms of the ports and the gangs he controls near that port, who knows, it doesn't go into the detail what that dispute was. If I'm alluding, me personally, if it was not some type of control report, it was definitely for some drug running between him, which has nothing to do with the Youri Latortue's statements, but even between that dispute seems like it was more than control and drug related, because even a story published by the Miami Herald. So, how the DA let one of Haiti's biggest drug busts slip through its fingers. This is back in 2008. We'll see. I'll read the story here. This is back in, not 2008, 2018. My apologies. The Panamanian flag cargo ship pulled into a privately owned Haitian port in broad daylight with a secret buried under a mountain of imported sugar. 700 to 800 kilos of cocaine and 300 kilos of heroin with an estimated U.S. street value of $100 million. When longshoremen started unloading the bags of sugar, they stumbled across the hidden stash and lawless free-for-all unfolded. Bags of drugs were grabbed by a host of people, including police officers who sped up the docks in cars with tinted windows, according to a Haiti police report obtained by the Miami Herald and confirmed by an agent with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA. By the time a squad of Haiti narcotics police officers arrived at the dock 2 hours later, most of the drugs were gone. The sugar boat hauled in April 2015 should have been exactly the kind of smuggling operation that the DEA agents and Haiti's narcotics police were prepared to take down. But today, more than 3 years after the MV Manzanares docked at Terminal Varro, Port Institut Soleil, the only person behind bars is a low-level shoreman awaiting trial on drug smuggling charges. No one in authority, neither Haiti's anti-drug policy or nor the DEA, has been held accountable for missing drugs on the sugar boat. Not only that, too, I'll look at... and keep in mind, that port is owned by MEVS. It's the same dispute I was trying to have back in 2005 with Port Gonaive. But what I want to show you here... So this is going down the... You guys can take a read if you want. This is going down the article here. But specifically, I want to highlight... The Haiti case seems to be grinding at a halt. A Haitian investigative judge who oversaw the sugar boat case dismissed most of the initial suspects, including the 13-year member of Manzanares crew and one member of the prominent Mevs family, Jean-Fritz Bernard Mevs. So, basically, one of the suspects, then again, happens to own the port, and it was the same thing that happened to, and I'll try and pull the article, the owner of the port of Port Lafiteau, Bigio, there was drugs found there as well. And these are not nationalized ports. These are all privatized ports. So there's no necessarily any oversight by the government of what's going in and what's coming out of these ports, right? So this is from, again, 2018, and showing you here that there was drugs found in this port, happened to be owned by the Mess family too, and they were Fritz was a specific suspect in that as well. Marc-Antoine Accra told the Herald he's innocent and deflected the accusation, saying that investigators aren't going after the real traffickers. The well-known businessman, even as he was under investigation in the Manzanares case, was appointed a Haiti Goodwill Ambassador by former President Michel Martelly. That's crazy. So he was appointed by a Goodwill Ambassador by another corrupt politician, which just raises even more flags. So we'll go back to the statement here.
À date, yo pas jamais répondre. Mais nous-mêmes, nous continuons à travailler. Et c'est notre travail, ça, qui fait que nous venons découvrir un document, nous venons découvrir un livre qui est écrit et en anglais, Zombie Five, et en français, les dossiers zombies, côté que livre ça, ou a dit était fait pour sénateur Youri Latortue. De première page jusqu'à dernière page, c'est des accusations à n'en plus finir contre moi-même. Et là, nous avons gardé mes livres là, ni en français ni en anglais. Mais, arrêter sur question sanction, il a tout. Dossier, parce que nous toujours marché avec dossier. J'aime parler sans pas de dossier. Nous parlons de livre là, qui sorti en 2019, avec, ça nous a dit, eh bien, décision qui prend aux États-Unis et au Canada. Ça nous est. N'a privé sur l'île à l'heure. Ça nous est dans le livre là. Dans le auteur livre là, sont un nom que nous est Max Kell. Max Kell. Ça très important, même pour l'arrivée, c'est lui maman dossier. Eh bien, ça nous est dans le livre ça. En 2019, que le livre là sorti, il dit, livre là accusé. Il dit que Youri Latortue a fait drogue avec pays Colombie.
So there was a book published called The Zombie Files, Gang, Drugs, Politics, and Voodoo under the mandate of the United Nations. Publisher Max Kell, but seller Bernd Grabner. Anyways, this book, I haven't read it, but essentially, the author alluded to Youri Latortue being corrupt. This is a book published in 2019. But then again, he's in the video, you'll see that he's saying that this is on the basis of no proof. It's not academically, peer reviewed or academically reviewed, so it's not legitimate. But I'll let him speak for himself.
C'est ça, vous dit dans le livre là. Dans chapitre 9, page 147 et 148. C'est ça, vous dit dans le livre là. Eh bien, dans sanction, yo prend 4 novembre 2022, yo dit dans décision que m'a fait drogue avec pays Colombie. C'est premier bagage. Deuxième bagage. Yo dit dans le livre là, dans chapitre 10, page 159, 164, 165, 166, 167, 168, que m'a trafiqué des armes avec l'Afrique du Sud. Yo dit dans sanction yo que moi-même tout m'a fait trafic d'armes avec pays étrangers. Et dans le livre là, m'ta peut-être nous ouais comment nèg ça qui écrit livre ça beaucoup arrivé sous non. Comment il définit? Il dit m'a fait trafic d'armes avec pays l'Afrique du Sud, nous avons conteneur d'armes qui est arrivé dans douane Port-au-Prince. Pour qui ça ou pas qu'un conteneur parce que pas de courant, nèg qui t'a supervisé conteneur comme pas de courant, il pas superviser, il devrait aller comme ça. C'est pour montrer comment Maxwell nèg il dit qui écrit livre ça, c'est on voyait monter puisque dans livre ça pas rien d'académique ni de prouvé. Troisième, ça il dit dans le livre là.
So he's saying nothing academic. It's not an academic book, per se. And he said there's nothing proven. Well, there's a lot of accusations. It's like, I know what he means that there's no proof, but if there's a lot of talks and and you've been involved in this type of activity since 1994, if you've built up enough rapport where people can actually speak on these types of accusations, regardless if they have concrete shown proof or not, because there's been multiple articles and reports showing Youri Latortue either in corruption, killings, which mainly the killing of a priest back in 1994, which is well reported, and sources even explaining the events of what happened that night, as well as now today with the corruption case, as well. Sorry, not the corruption case, the sanctions against him as well by the Canada and the United States. So him coming up here, really, it's honestly similar, I find, to Lama, but more trying to really save face. In terms of the book that was published in 2019, he said they started doing their research to build a case against the sanctions recently, which is why he saw the book recently. But this book was published back in 2019, so he's alluding to that the accusations in there are false and they're not legitimate, and he wants to pursue them. Well, we're 2023 now. It's been almost 4 years, depending what month the book Zombie Files was released. So I find it hard to believe why the urgency now to come denounce these accusations is coming 3 months after sanctions, when this book was published back in 2019. You had about 3.5 years before to essentially take action against what the book is claiming that you're doing wrong. And even then, there's a bunch of art. If he has an issue with what the book is accusing him of, then he needs to go do a Google search of all the articles, not just articles, but reports posted about him and his name revolving in corruption and gang activity in Haiti as well.
Participer dans violence. Yo dit moi t'al distribué armes en 2009 dans livre là oui avec René Mon Plaisir. Tout le monde connaît que moi j'étais en opposition avec le président Prival, pas aucun rapport entre moi-même et René Mon Plaisir. Yo dit dans livre là m'dal distribuer armes. Dans chapitre 11, page 169 et 175, dans chapitre 12, page 189 191. Alors que yo dit dans décision sanction yo que moi-même me fait violence également non avec bandit dans le quartier populaire. Donc nous exactement ça qui dit dans le livre là, yo vinn reprendre ni dans décision ça yo.
So you see, he's saying basically what it's said in the book. He's alluding to that's how Canada and the U.S. came to their decisions. So he's saying all these accusations are fabricated. So me personally, the way I'm looking at it, complete waste of time. The fact that he didn't speak out, at least Lamotte said something like within a reasonable amount of time. He was basically quiet till now. Really show his face until now as well. So I really doubt the sense of urgency he has now to denounce these claims. At the same, let's not be naive. If you're accused of drug trafficking and all that, are you gonna actually come out, and especially if you've been doing it for an X amount of years, are you gonna randomly come out and say, yes, I'm guilty of doing this and that? When have you ever seen that happen in real life? Never. Nobody comes out and nobody has ever been like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but especially a politician, never seen him do something bad for X amount of years and come out publicly state, yes, it was me, I'm sorry, blah, blah. Completely false. Unless then again, there's concrete proof where you can't completely deny it. One of the best examples, Bill Clinton and the Monica Lewinsky scandal. Like, he had to come out and confess because he was taking too much heat and there was no way he was getting out of that. There's too much proof, and the media was on him. But regardless, he's trying to save face here. I'll play the clip a bit more, and I'll let you guys watch the rest on your own.
N'a continue. Les gens li écrit par Max Kill. N'a regardé non, nous MAX KIL.
Qui fait d'après ça dit un travail des Nations Unies. Les Nations Unies ont transporté droit en machine.
Ça, monsieur fait dans l'édition. Lui-même qui fait propre livre, li publié. Pas gagné également enregistrement droit d'auteur. Donc, il dit pas de compagnie d'édition. Code barre livre là, ça nous est là. Il n'y a pas aucun rapport avec livre là. Code barre là, dans tout le monde qui écrit livre, c'est un ensemble d'informations qui permettent ou lier avec le livre là. Pas bien. Email que monsieur Météa, il va marcher. Et ou pas joindre une photo de lui. Les amis qui escapent écrit un livre, ou pas accuser des gens, ou pas identifier.
So I'll let you guys watch the rest. But he's basically trying to use this book that's been published to discrediting the book that was published in 2019 and alluding to that's what the U.S. and Canada used to sanction him, which are false accusations. So now he's basically saying, well, he did write a letter to the government of Canada in the U.S., but he's also gonna pursue, trying to pursue the writers of the book.
Pas de photo, pas de rien. Donc ça veut dire que monsieur connaît ces haïtiens nous et que nous pas besoin ni monsieur eh bien écrit livre là pour que li mette sur tout réseau Amazon la vendre alors que tout ça dit dans livre là sont track international. Mais nous va regarder beaucoup plus question puisque là nous vinn al fouiller zo dans Kalalou nous est que Ben Grabner qui écrit sous corruption dans les années 2015, 2016, 2017. Monsieur, pas parlé du tout de Petro-Caribé, dossier de fait 1 million de monde pour la rue, t'as parlé de Petro-Caribé, monsieur pas parlé de Petro-Caribé. Monsieur pas parlé de Dermalog. Monsieur pas parlé de Sophie Daye. Monsieur pas parlé de franchise.
So he's saying the writer of the book, while talking about corruption between 2015 and 2017, never mentioned the Petro-Caribé scandal. So I'll let you guys read the rest of the press conference. But honestly, mainly trying to save face, in my opinion. The book that he's known to be a savvy politician. So the book that he's using to trying to allude to fake claims, I think it's smart. However, when you look at the sanctions, I doubt that the U.S. or Canada used this book, which I'm not minimizing the book whatsoever at all, but I've never doesn't seem like it's a popular book. I've never heard of it personally. Even the author, these are not like the seller. I don't think this is the only book he's ever written. So, all right. Next, I want to take a look at is the North American Leaders Summit. Honestly, both the U.S. and Canada, U.S. officials said there would be a discussion about Haiti. Honestly, so far as of January 11th, nothing much discussed from the official statement from the Prime Minister's office of Canada. But I'll read here. Obviously, you guys can see it highlighted. For the viewers, you can see it highlighted here. But I'll read the paragraph. The leaders addressed globally and regionally stability issues such as Iran, China, and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, as well as the hemispheric hotspots such as Haiti, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and Cuba. The Prime Minister stressed the importance of international cooperation in supporting a robust Haitian-led solution to the political, security, and humanitarian crisis. Man, they keep alluding to this. They didn't mention cholera, but they keep alluding to this humanitarian crisis. Cholera has always been in Haiti, mainly because some of the, especially the poor neighborhoods, there's not any sanitary system or it's no cleanliness there too. The Prime Minister discussed extending additional support to Haiti with the U.S. and Mexico, including the increase of humanitarian aid, impose sanctions, strengthen the Haitian National Police, and weaken disabled Haiti's criminal gangs and those who support them. Today, Canada delivered 2 Haitian-purchased, mine-resistant, ambush-protected vehicles to the Haitian National Police to assist them in restoring peace and security. So, looks like there was 3 armored trucks given by Canada and U.S. Late last year, 2022. Looks like Canada delivered 2 other armored vehicles to the Haitian National Police as well. So we'll see how it goes. Nothing much really on this for now as of today. We'll see if there's any more that comes out of the discussion. I'm actually not sure if the North American Summit, is it one day or is it a whole week? Let me double check that right now. Oh no, it's a couple days. 9 and 10. All right. Next up I want to talk about is Bitcoin mainly. So I'll give you the Investopedia definition. I'll then get into the point I want to make here. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, a virtual currency designed to act as money and a form of payment outside of control of any one person, group, or entity, thus removing the need for third-party involvement in financial transactions. It is rewarded to blockchain miners for the work done by verified transactions and can be purchased on several exchanges. Bitcoin was introduced to the public in 2009 by an anonymous developer or a group of developers using the name of Satoshi Nakamoto. So why am I bringing up Bitcoin? Well, me personally, been in the cryptocurrency space for about 1.5 years, 2 years. Specifically Bitcoin, the concept of it. Now, when you're looking at Haiti's economy, so look, what you're looking at here is the Haitian gold, so the HTG, the currency compared to the Canadian dollar. And as you can see now, basically, 1 Canadian dollar is worth approximately 0.009 cents. So 0 cents. It's basically worthless in 1 Canadian dollar is about the equivalent to 1 Canadian dollar is nothing in Haiti, essentially. So even over this, based on this chart, the Haitian gold compared to Canadian dollar over the course of 5 years has actually been depreciating, and you can do the same thing with the US dollar, where if you looked at it pegged, although the US dollar has been depreciating too, it's been at a faster rate. And if you look at the 5 year, period, Compared to the US dollar, the HTG has depreciated by 55%, more than half of its value. And compared to the Canadian dollar, just slightly stronger, it's depreciated by 72%. Over the course of 5 years, depreciated by 52.56% compared to the Canadian, pegged to the Canadian dollar as well. So by your money, so if you're Haitian and you're owning Haitian gold, by default, your money is depreciating mainly because with also the exception of inflation as well, which we'll get into. So with your money depreciating, it means that you have less money in your hands. So for example, if you made 10 Haitian golds and depreciated by 10%, well, your same Haitian gold the next day is, like, let's say depreciated the next day. Well, it's really $9. That same value really that you had is really worth $9 on the market. So in terms of the value of the money that you're holding, it doesn't help it for a month. Like, for example, a lot of Haitians that are holding Haitian golds, the money, like, for example, if you held $1,000, that $1,000 based on 52% is worth roughly about $600, $500 today, essentially. So the money depreciated a lot, and that's just not in Haiti. That's all around the world, but more proponent in countries like Haiti. Now, why Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is a transactional. It's a digital, like I said, it's a virtual currency, accessible to anyone. Unlike where our monetary financial system, the government can print out money, and depending how much money they can print out, and once it gets printed out, it can devalue the money of everyone else that's holding the same currency. And reason for that, it can do that, is if you print out a bunch of money to pay debt, then there's a bunch of money out in circulation in the economy. And naturally what that does in the economy is it depreciates the value of everyone's cash in hand. So one thing with Bitcoin, there's limited amount, where there's about, in terms of once it's all the coins are created, there'll be about 21 million coins available. So even if everyone in the world want to own one Bitcoin as of now, like one full Bitcoin, it's impossible, because there's only 21 million Bitcoins in the world. However, you can buy it in fractions. So not necessarily, like, let's say if I go, let me look at the Bitcoin price. Canadian, it's about $24,000. Well, you can buy fractions of Bitcoin, which are available through cryptocurrency exchanges such as Coinbase, NDAX, if you're in Canada. So essentially, you can buy fractions. You can buy $20 worth of Bitcoin, $30 worth of Bitcoin. So same case here for Haitians. Haiti, like, all you need really is a bank account, debit card, if you can get that, mainly debit card and bank account, and then you can purchase Bitcoin. Now, why purchase Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin right now is worth $24,000. And it's also a good hedge against inflation, in the sense that it's an asset that's volatile. You can see here, let me just go in a 6-month period, or even let's go a year. Okay, let's go 5-year period. So November 12th, 2021, Bitcoin was trading at $80,000. Now it's worth $24,000. So it's definitely a volatile asset, but it's a very good hedge against inflation. If you do hold Bitcoin and then sell it afterwards. So how would you access Bitcoin and buy it? There's a bunch of American cryptocurrency exchanges that you can make an account with, similar to making an account for Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. You make your account, put your debit card information inside, and then once you do that, you'll have access to buy other cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum. But I want to focus mainly on Bitcoin for today. So in terms of a hedge against inflation and protecting your wealth, Bitcoin is a good asset, especially if you, especially for mainly Haitian citizens. And when I'm talking about Haitian citizens, I'm talking about the mass population, the 80%. I'm not even talking. We're talking more lower middle class and people that are going to maybe mainly the working class in Haiti. Really, because all you need to access this is a phone and internet and a bank account. The rest, once you have that, you're fine. So internet, smartphone, bank account, you can access it. Because one thing too, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but it's very difficult to build wealth through just saving your money. Whereas mainly when you try to build wealth, you want to put into assets that appreciate over time. So investing, buying a house, or assets, for example, like Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, like I want to show you, very volatile, but you can see when it does trade and people are buying it, and it's trading actively, it can go up to 72,000, which is a great hedge and protection against inflation if you're living in Haiti. Because even in Haiti right now, inflation is, as of October 2022, is about 47.2%, which is, if you compare it to inflation in Canada, let's see the numbers here. Give me 1 second. I just want to pull up the numbers. Like 7%. That's what it was around 2022 for Canada. So 7% inflation, whereas Haiti's facing 47% inflation. Okay, so it's a good hedge against inflation and investment asset. And one thing that's good too, it's one of the few assets where you can convert it from asset to cash and cash to access into asset quickly. For example, a house is an asset, a car is an asset. You can sell a car pretty quickly. When we're talking about an appreciated asset like a house, for example, it takes a while before that transaction is done and you get your cash in hand. Whereas Bitcoin, you can literally buy it. You can put your money, your Haitian gold, convert it to US dollars if you have to, buy the Bitcoin in US dollars. And if you want to, sell your Bitcoin in US dollars, it'll give you US dollars back for the value. And then from US dollars, you can convert it to Haitian gold. So if you bought, let's say, for example, you bought Bitcoin at $10, and then a month later it appreciates at $40, you can sell it and then get your $30 profit that way, or you can keep it and let it appreciate, depending whatever you want to do. But it's a great way in terms of store of value, and it's very accessible as long as you have internet and a phone, and obviously a bank account as well. But it's very accessible in that sense. And also transaction speed. So in terms of sending money in and out the country, a lot of people send you from Canada, US, wherever in the diaspora sends money to Haiti. When you're using like Western Union, there's like a hefty fee depending how much money it is. The Bitcoin transaction fee, it can be little as $3 because it's a network fee that's used. And I can get to the technical side another day, but essentially it's cheap to send money through the Bitcoin network. It can be as little as $5, and you can be sending like $100, $200, $300, and the fees are nothing compared to what you'd be paying at Western Union, to the point where they're not even noticeable. So in terms of sending money in and out the country, it is definitely you would be saving money in terms of the transaction fees as well. The speed of sending money as well, depending on the amount, it's within the blockchain speed, I believe, updates I could be wrong, every 10 minutes. And if it's not every 10 minutes, every half hour. But now you're guaranteed that money from wherever around the world would be sent to whoever's holding that account within an hour or so. So sending money wouldn't be even taking that long, really. So mainly you want to bring that up because I believe it's a good hedge for inflation and for young Haitians as well if they want to get into investing and kind of have hold assets. This is the one that's the easiest to hold if you don't have a lot. It's one of the assets where you can hold, where you can start off with $5-10. You can leave it there and it can appreciate. Especially with Haiti, there's not really it's not like you need to go invest in bonds and stocks through the exchange there. If you want any access to trading, you'd have to go and through the U.S. exchange, obviously, or any type of U.S. platforms, banks like Citibank, for example, that still operates down there. So in terms of a great hedge for inflation and protecting your money, not only for Haiti, but for anyone in the similar situation, but especially in Haiti, since the currency is depreciated at such a high rate, people are just losing their money, just holding it without even spending it as well. Bitcoin offers an alternative to kind of protect yourself against inflation and also build wealth, and some type of wealth that's accessible. And for example, if maybe they don't have the means to go buy a house or maybe start a business right away, but putting their money with a 5-10 gold or the equivalent of 5-10 golds of US to Bitcoin can help out help feed a family that way as well. Especially considering the fact that it is a volatile asset. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, but if you look at it, someone that had, let's say, I'll take a Haitian, like let's say a Haitian that had bought, let's just say, for example, 1 Bitcoin. And then again, you can buy fractions of it. So it doesn't have to be a whole Bitcoin. It can be $10 worth of it, $20 worth of it. It'll still appreciate depending how the market is going. But let's say someone back in October 9th, 2020 bought Bitcoin for about $14,800 and sold it in April 9th, 2021. That same Bitcoin would be worth $74,000. So that's a very, very big profit from if you had bought it at that time. But not saying this is a quick get rich quick scheme, but mainly I'm using this trying to show you that you can use this to hedge against inflation and try and build wealth with these types of assets as well. So thank you for tuning in, guys. And please, when you do get the chance, shameless plug here, please go follow the 1804 podcast. At the bottom here, it's the 1804 official. At the 1804 podcast, I'll post it when I have mainly post anything cool content, anything regarding Latin America and the Caribbean and politics and geopolitics, as well as other random content I like showing you guys here. For example, it's a cool video: world record wingsuit flight, 7.5 kilometers over Mont Blanc. I've got the video on my page. Check it out. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for tuning in and take care.